had encountered 3 suspicious subjects. He advised his radio communication that he was out with 3 suspicious subjects, 2 male whites and 1 male black. Shortly thereafter, Lieutenant Gliniewicz informed communications he was in a foot pursuit. That are trying to sniff out and grab a hold of a scent of the offenders. And we have numerous police officers across northern Illinois as well, and we're joined by state agencies and federal agencies as well. We're asking residents in the Fox Lake area to please be on the alert if they see anything suspicious, to dial 911 immediately. Anything out of the ordinary, anything they're not used to seeing in their subdivisions. No tip is too small, and we're asking for the community's help on locating anything suspicious. At this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mayor Schmidt of the Village of Fox Lake.
Tonight, not only did Fox Lake lose a family member, I lost a very dear friend. Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz was a 30-year veteran, a decorated police officer, a family man, and a dear friend to the entire village of Fox Lake. The response today by law enforcement from local, state, and federal agencies has been remarkable. We would like to thank each agency and each officer who is out there right now assisting our efforts. Understandably, our officers are having a very difficult day today. We lost a family member. They're dealing with the loss of their colleague, partner, while also identifying efforts to find the person responsible for this senseless tragedy. Our community is having a very difficult time. In the coming days will be even more difficult as we remember him as a police officer, a father, and a member of our community. G.I. Joe was a father of 4 boys, a decorated police officer and our asset to our community. Many residents in here knew him as G.I. Joe, and we remember him as someone deeply committed to Fox Lake, to the profession, and his fellow officers. Going forward, our focus is in 3 areas. The first is to mourn the death of Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz. His commitment to the people of this community has been unmatched and will be dearly missed. The second is to ensure the people of Fox Lake are safe as this investigation continues. We've been coordinating efforts with the schools, increasing our police presence at all our facilities, and making sure parents are notified about the status of their schools. The minute we learned about this incident, we immediately put our schools on soft lockdown and advised parents that they should pick up their children from school. We made a decision to dismiss students at 4 o'clock instead of 3, and are asking parents to pick up their children from the school. Finally, we continue to support the hardworking men and women out there today in this heat, doing everything that they can to find the individuals responsible for this very tragic incident. Thank you.
Detective. Can you come back to the podium, please?
We're not going to answer any follow-up questions.
now is confirmation of the preliminary report that one suspect has been apprehended. And the detective, Covelli, stopped short of denying those reports. The suspect indeed was not apprehended. He said that he would have known. They are communicating with the state police, and the source cited was that they would probably know by now if the state police had picked somebody up. And they just don't have any information that the suspect has been apprehended. He can't confirm it at this time. Stop short of denying it. Beyond that, the manhunt is massive. All of the agencies are out here. It is something that strikes the heart of the police agency. You heard Mayor Schmidt when he was talking to people at Tremble, tears in the back of his throat, if you will, as he tried to describe this officer.
You starting with this camera? Yeah. Although I got a big shadow across my face.
Okay.
Whoa, how do I... No, they're still standing off, Eric, and I wouldn't go with a school district email as my source. I mean, it's NIPUS here, and NIPUS was searching Fox Lake, so it covers the area. I'm just going to couch it. You can start on me, and then we'll quickly go out to the nose cam. Actually, you know,
At Keller Graduate School of Management,
we'll go to
our
video.
professors bring
We'll
real
start with
business
me, and
challenges
then
into the classroom.
I'll have them roll the
So
tape.
what you learn today
And then
can
if you
unlock
want to
the leader inside
go over
you
to the staging
tomorrow.
area.
It's what makes us
This morning. Now, while there have been a number of media reports out there that the officer has passed away, the Lake County Sheriff's Office will only
Okay, stand by.
say that police officer that was shot this morning has been injured.
Yes, this is Bob. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Was he saying Lake Charles or something? Okay, I was... No, Fox Lake. Okay, yeah, there's not a whole lot going on, but I'll look around. REM 212. Are you saying you need a shot of a helicopter that I had earlier doing the surveillance? Because I rolled in my camera. I could just roll it back to you guys. Are you saying you're looking for a helicopter shot? A shot from the ground of a helicopter that nobody rolled? Because I rolled in my camera if you need me to re-roll it. Okay, yeah, I will do. Okay. Sure thing, yep. Yeah, search and find it. Yeah, chopper shot's on a 10-second delay, but I still have him right now, so I've got at least 10 seconds from now. This is Bob Rim 212. We're back live again. That was all the helicopter stuff I had. Okay, good. I CC'd you on it. Just Ruth was calling. She booked rooms at the Fairfield. She just was, she was calling to make sure that was okay. So I told her yes. She's calling, but I'm on the bridge.
Hey everyone, Samia Khan here with your FOX10 News Now update. Welcome back, and those of you who have been joining us since 2 o'clock, thank you for joining us. I know some of you caught the top of the show where we had a press conference in regards to this really, really unfortunate shooting out of Fox Lake, Illinois. It is just absolutely tragic. We are learning more details about the victim. Now, the victim is a police officer. There are 3 suspects that are wanted. A manhunt is underway. I have an image of the individual who was shot and killed. He was a veteran, 30 years on the force. His nickname was G.I. Joe. His name was Lieutenant Joseph Gliniewicz. This happened early this morning, and what else can I tell you? Let me just pull up this image for you so you can at least have a visual. Really just sad.
Okay, yeah, I'll be looking for some stuff.
So there you see the individual we are talking about. Police are looking for the 3 suspects who killed this man. He is a father of 4. He was killed this morning. Police are looking for 3 suspects, armed and dangerous. This is Fox Lake, Illinois. Helicopters circling above Fox Lake. All law enforcement agencies from the area are there. I'm going to go back to the feed that is being sent to us from Fox. We know that helicopters are circling the area. There's a regional SWAT team, K-9 units, FBI and ATF agents. The shooting happened this morning at 8 a.m. local time. That's Central Time in Chicago, and it's really sad. So about 6 o'clock in the morning here in Arizona, and he was shot and killed. What's interesting is the FAA even put a temporary flight restriction in place over the area of the search at the request of the police department a couple hours ago so that they could continue searching in the area. Police are still searching in the area. As far as I know, no suspects have been caught or identified at this point. They're still looking for the 3 suspects. We know that 2 male suspects are white and 1 of the suspects is black, according to Lake County Sheriff's Detective Chris Covelli. That is the officer an officer radioed in Tuesday morning to tell dispatchers he was chasing 3 men on foot, but communication, oh my gosh, that is sad. So I'm just learning some of this information right now. So the officer who was shot and killed had radioed in to the state, letting dispatchers know he was chasing 3 men on foot, but then suddenly lost communication. And when his backup arrived, that's when they found him injured with a gunshot wound. And unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries and passed away. We also know that the officer apparently was stripped of his gun and other equipment. It's a really, really sad story. Go ahead and put this image up right there. So you have the victim in the upper right-hand corner. Really just a very sad story. Father of 4. Many of you asking where Fox Lake is in Illinois. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up a map for you guys. It's very, very close to the border of Illinois and Wisconsin.
Copy, yep, I'm 10 seconds away, so I'll just keep giving you guys shots and hope it works out.
Those of you familiar with the area, this is Fox Lake right here. This is Wisconsin, this is Illinois. If I move the map, you can see Chicago down here. In terms of driving distance, why don't I just search in Google Maps, Chicago to Fox Lake. About an hour and 31 minutes, 57 miles. You can see that right there. So that is where it is in relation to Chicago. So let's go back now to these images that are being sent to us from Fox National from the ground. Now, according to Fox News, this area of Illinois, Fox Lake, is a popular resort area surrounded by numerous lakes, about 52 miles, that's right, northwest of Chicago. So, a popular resort area, an easy weekend getaway, very close.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
So again, those of you just joining us, the person you see in the upper right-hand corner is the police officer who was shot to death after he was chasing 3 men on foot. This is Lieutenant Joseph Gliniewicz. He was also known on the force as G.I. Joe. He had been with the police department in Fox Lake for 30 years. Again, father of 4 sons. Absolutely heartbreaking story. Police with helicopters, dogs, and armed with rifles are conducting this manhunt. They still have not caught any of the 3 suspects that they are chasing. We know that 2 of the suspects are white, 1 is black. Don't have much other information right now. I know that that was information that was reported by Gliniewicz when he first radioed in while he was chasing those 3 suspects. So at this point, given there's a manhunt, police, law enforcement are, wearing camouflage. They're seen, they're on rooftops, they're along railroad tracks. They're looking every possible place they can for these suspects. Authorities in Fox Lake have also notified a number of other law enforcement agencies in the area to ask for assistance. So hopefully with more resources, these suspects will get caught. Even the FBI is helping out in the search, sending agents to help in the investigation. I know they have canines on the ground. I mean, they have lots of people trying to track down these 3 men who were involved in the shooting death of this police officer who had, been with that department for 30 years. Again, these men are described as armed and dangerous, according to officials, and that's all we know right now. And here's an interesting thing that Halala, one of our viewers, just posted. Sad fact, 11 police officers in America have lost their lives since August 20th because of shootings. That's 12 days. That's 11 days. That's like 1 per day pretty much, Halala. That is really, really sad. Really sad. So again, these are the images coming into us from Fox National. Can, oh.
The only thing cool with us here, the only thing like we could do anything in this area, just don't want us.
Gotcha.
I'm going to show you some aerials that were shot earlier as a part of this manhunt. These are aerials that were sent to us from Fox National. Again, helicopters, ground crews, everyone looking everywhere for any possible suspects. Again, you can see some of these aerial shots that we got in from Fox National. Lots of people involved in this search. Then we have these ground shots again. But those are very similar to what we're seeing right now live that's being fed in right now from Fox National as well. Officers on the ground waiting to spot any trace of possible suspect or suspects. We do know that 3 people, the cop who was killed was chasing 3 people before he was shot and killed.
Copy that, thank you.
Are you streaming?
Yeah, but I think we're putting the dish up soon.
Okay.
I gotta pan around you here. They want me like
Okay.
constantly moving. That's why I moved
Oh,
forward.
no problem. I'm about to get out of here anyway.
So did they get one guy or no?
Oh, I heard a woman mention that. She said they're still looking for 2, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I thought I heard, but you know, you only hear part of the story.
Story. Better get them before nightfall, man.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's going to be a lot harder.
Right.
They don't have very good descriptions. No? I mean,
And they said, what, 2 white guys?
it could be you and me.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't
2 white guys, 1 black.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's not much to go on.
Right. It's like big news down south, man. A lot of my friends putting up, tweeting and all that.
I guess but whoever it is they have, if they have them, I'm sure they
The
screws.
screws.
All right, I got to go, man. Good to
Okay, I'll see you, man. I'll
All
talk
right.
to you.
All right, guys, we're going to cut away from this for a little bit because Dave Munsey is joining me, and you are the man that is in demand.
Well, last night, certainly.
Oh, my gosh.
Lots going on last night. Big
What was it like covering the weather here last night?
big storms. It was fun. It was fun in a way, but it was scary for a lot of people that were out to dinner.
Right.
And then coming back, because look at that stuff blowing
It's
across.
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Trees were down, power lines were down, all kinds of things were happening. But this rain sideways, and it had mud in it. I walked outside, and my shirt was just full of mud almost instantly.
Really?
Yeah, so it was real. It was full of stuff, and as you can see here, it was water standing in the streets. We just had a lot going on.
Mm-hmm.
Real quick, if we could go over to the computer, we can show some of the amounts that we had.
Yeah, let's go over there now.
And also we can get a look at what's going on as far as tonight is concerned. You don't see much around Phoenix. There is some activity up north. Actually have a couple of flood warnings, a couple of flood advisories still hanging on.
I remember
up north.
getting an alert for a flood warning last night.
And that we had lots of them. We had them all over the city. So you
Okay.
probably got a lot of them, yeah. There were
Yeah.
a lot of them all over.
I got it when I landed at Sky Harbor late last night.
Yeah. And Sky Harbor, actually, I think they delayed the planes for a little bit there. Here.
You want to know my story, Dave Munsey?
Not right now because
Okay,
I want
fine.
to show these numbers. Okay? And the reason is
got
they're going to
dissed
use
by
the
Dave.
computer for something else.
Okay.
So I want to get these numbers going. But that Scottsdale number of 122,
Wow.
that is right on the. That's not up in Old Town Scottsdale. That's up right on the border of Phoenix and Scottsdale. And that 102 that you see at Sky Harbor, that was in the airport area, but Sky Harbor didn't report that. Sky
Right.
Harbor
And
reported 3,700 subs.
Right, and there's like nothing in Chandler, relatively
A
speaking.
little bit, yeah, 800s or something like that.
The west side,
Tempe, 9100ths of an inch.
Right.
So you can see some folks getting a pretty good look at Mesa, a little over an inch, and that was out in East Mesa, out in far East Mesa. So lots going on in the world of rain last night. You can go back to the video now and then tell me, this is good stuff
Yeah,
here.
so I was.
Tell me your story,
I
okay.
was, well, they kind of already know it, but I'll tell you. Last night I was coming back from California.
Okay.
And there were no issues with Phoenix weather. My flight was
No,
scheduled
there
for
weren't.
7.
It came up very quickly.
My flight was scheduled for 7. We took off about 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're in the sky, the captain comes on and talks about how we're going to have to circle around in the sky for 30 minutes because apparently there are these storms in Phoenix. Then after 20 minutes, they're like, okay, so apparently there's a lot of storm damage. Tower signal is out. We can't land on the runway because of debris. So all the planes that have been coming in, 40 of them have been rerouted. So then I was in Vegas. So I was above Phoenix. Then they took me to Vegas.
And what happens in Vegas
Ends up on the internet.
stays in Vegas
No, I live streamed right away.
for at least a couple of hours, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The people themselves, right? So yeah, and then I eventually made it back and saw the crazy damage and.
It was insane. And when we saw the complex coming in, when we saw the storm coming in, it was it was like it was as we were being. It was almost as if we were being invaded by this one storm. It was just kind of working its way across the city.
Tower cam video.
Yeah,
now
this
we have
tower cam. Oh, this is it right here. Yeah, this is it right here. I mean, that is.
It's so crazy.
And then look at the power. See all the power
Yeah.
going out, all the transformers
so
going out.
those are transformers going out. The little shocks right there.
That you see there, and what we have 55,000 without power last night at the height of the storm. But yeah, you see that, and then look at all the people traveling, all that stuff behind them, moving in on them as they're on their way home last night.
Right.
And it was quite the storm. Yeah, it was quite the storm. Quite the light show. Had a lot of
Did you see some of the damage from
active
today?
weather. I have seen some of this from last night, but it always looks a little different in the daylight, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then you have the trees that are down.
That
the
looks
Sky
like a
Harbor
golf course,
storm.
yeah. Sky Harbor Terminal 3, I think, had some damage. They
Yeah.
moved some people out of that terminal, but
There's this tree that's down.
yeah, boy, and there were trees
this
and power
roof.
lines. Look at that, trees and power lines down all through the city. There's my little car sitting there getting all
Soaked.
soaked. I should have put a little rain cover on it, but that was video from right outside the door here in the parking lot of Channel 10. A lot of good having a roof on it did us.
That is crazy.
As you can see.
And then here's, oh no, this is not the one I was supposed to click on. It's this one right here. Nope, that's not it either. Where did it go? There it is.
Yeah, that was, I would imagine if you were in a plane, it was a little uncomfortable.
No.
Was your plane bouncing around a little bit?
Not at all. That's the crazy thing. Somehow they like got around all of the storm. They just couldn't land because I could see the lightning in the sky. It was really interesting watching lightning.
Oh, I can imagine from the air. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And then I was like, oh, and it wasn't a bumpy ride at all though. We weren't like flying through rain or anything.
You're almost ready to land. And then they take you to Vegas. That has to be disheartening. You're ready to get home.
I was so ready to get home. I even booked an earlier flight, like 7 instead of...
How long were you in Vegas?
Not too long. I mean, I live streamed, and I was probably only in Vegas for 30 minutes, maybe, because overall...
Did you win any money?
Well, they kept us on the plane.
Oh, I would think when they land, they would at least bring some slot machines out.
Right, because we can gamble.
I mean, they have them in the bathrooms. They have them everywhere. Why wouldn't they bring them out and put them on the plane while you're waiting?
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Dave Munsey, that's the spirit.
There you go. That's because what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, and if you win money on a plane, you're going to take it with you.
The rain inside Sky Harbor.
Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah, isn't it crazy?
Yeah, yeah. No, it was the hardest rainfall for the longest period of time that I've ever seen in all my years here, and that's going to be 40 years.
In October.
30 days from today.
30 days from today. Is it October 1st?
It's September 30th.
September 30th.
It was the day I hired on. Yeah.
It was your first day?
That was my first day, September 30th.
We need to remember this.
I know. You weren't even born yet.
I was not born.
You weren't even born yet.
I was not born yet. That's not even an exaggeration. Daniel has a question for you, Dave. First of all, he said he was saying that the coverage last night was really great. So
thank you. We have a great team here. They really went out and got on top of it.
Yeah, and Daniel's saying, was the rest of the rain blowing horizontally? I would have thought more than 1.02 inches.
You know, and that's always the way it is. People were commenting on the air last night, oh, I'll bet there's 2 inches, I bet there's 3 inches, I'll bet, 2 inches of rain in that short amount of time, we'd all been doing the backstroke. That's a lot of rain to put into a city like this, and you saw what happened when you get 1 inch. And that was...
and the winds were crazy?
The winds were crazy. Now, I saw a report, I should have brought it with me, there was a report, and somewhere in Phoenix, where they reported something like 6 or 7 inches of rain, but I haven't confirmed that. It was probably a gully that was washing out or something like that people got that. But you see, that's it. People see it. When people call me, they will always say, well, in my backyard, I don't know what you got, but in my backyard, I'm sure we got 2.5 inches.
Do you want to look at the Facebook post that everyone's posted? Do you want to see what all the viewers are sending?
Oh, let's see. We can see.
We did that before, right?
Yeah, and some people do have rain gauges, and not all of the rain falls in the official rain gauge. So it is interesting what people find in their own rain gauge. A lot of people follow the weather. A lot of people do a lot of weather stuff. But the official report out of Sky Harbor I looked up when I got in here was 3,700s. But there are some reports from the flood district that say up to 1.2 inches, 9,800ths of an inch, 1.6 fell in that area. So I put that in instead of the Sky Harbor amount.
79th and Peoria, lightning show from Kayla.
Oh, we get a lot of great information from
viewers?
People. Yes, they send us their great pictures of. You can see the lightning flashing
How frequently?
Here. Oh, it was steady. Lightning was steady. It just kept popping.
I'm kind of sad that I missed the storm.
Yeah, it was a good storm. I don't know if you had been. I think it was around 7 o'clock that it popped up somewhere in there, a little after 7, that we first started seeing it. So I think you would have been on your way home or homes. But if you'd have been on your way home, it would have scared you.
Yeah, by the time I landed, there wasn't much rain.
When I left here, just about all of downtown was dark. There were no street lights. It was real dark on the streets.
Listen.
Yeah. Yeah, we were sitting here. We were here in the station. This is a big station. This is a big building, and the ceilings were very, very high, and it just sounded like people were beating on the ceilings with hammers. It was just absolutely a heavy, heavy, heavy storm.
Wow.
Yeah, but look at some of those pictures. They're kind of neat, aren't
My
they?
mother's apartment complex near 7th and Indian School Road, the aftermath of destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Right here. Wow. That's so crazy. It's very cool looking. Wow. Just lighting up the sky like that.
Yep, yep.
This is so crazy. So what can we expect? I think the big question is now, Dave. Everyone wants to know what they can expect today. Are we going to see more? Because I heard that this just came out of nowhere. People were like, "Whoa, that was quick." Where did that come from?
You know, last year, very, very unusual. In September, we received 5 11/100ths of an inch of rain. Normally for the year, we get 2 71/100ths,
wow.
or excuse me, 7 71/100ths of an inch. It's very unusual for what we've seen, for the amounts that we've seen here. So yeah, it's a lot of rain in a very short time. One day in September last year, I think it was September 8th, we picked up something in the neighborhood of 3 30/100ths of an inch of rain. That was a record for us, a one-day rain in September. So you never know. We're just starting September. Last night was an indication of the fact that monsoon is not over.
So there's always a 20% chance of rain?
Hey, always. Remember we talked about the article in the paper where somebody was saying that the monsoon was probably over last Wednesday? And the last thing they said, but it can always rain again. Well, there you go.
Well,
See,
you know, there's always
it's
that
always like that.
possibility.
It's always like that. Not looking forward to the first pumpkin ale beer of the year. Didn't know they were making it. I'm sure they do. I am a beer drinker, but I'm a very traditional beer drinker. I don't drink any of the any of that.
Is that what you were doing?
I'm a Miller Lite drinker. That's what I like. I like a nice Miller Lite. Nice cold one, but mostly I'm a wine drinker. No, they were asking here.
Yeah, I know who asked.
Oh, okay.
He's a big fan of finding that kind of information out. But yeah, that's so I guess that's our weather update. We shouldn't expect. I know that there's a cool down kind of this week. We'll drop a
little bit. Well, and we're expecting today we'll get a little break from the rain. I think there's still some out there,
right.
But. I think that the rain again to Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, probably seeing a chance of it once again of rain. So last night was a 30% chance of rain. And you have to remember also that for some people, we were getting tweets through the night from people that were saying, I haven't gotten a drop.
Right, because
nothing here, no wind, no rain, nothing. So that happens too. Some people, this was a non-storm. They just didn't get a thing. And when I got home last night, I noticed they had a lot of rain in my neighborhood. I didn't notice a lot of destruction, but Tempe received 87/100ths of an inch. Out by ASU, I think they received 98/100ths of an inch. And there was some hail out there too.
Right, these girls that were on the plane next to me started looking at all the Snapchats they were getting in because I guess that they go to ASU, and so all their friends that were back at school were all posting video. And so they're like, they were showing me like, this is ASU. I'm like, wow, that's cool.
There you go, and you were missing it. Never leave town during the summer. You might miss a really good storm. And how was the weather over in, where were you this time?
It was really nice. It was in Los Angeles. It was great.
Another wedding?
Yes.
Are all of your friends married now?
No.
Oh my goodness. You'll be going away again then?
Yes, in 5 weeks. Less than 5 weeks now.
All of my friends are married.
I have another wedding, yes, October 3rd.
Okay.
Actually, no, yeah. Then
I
have
haven't
two on
been
the
to a
same
wedding in a long time.
Okay. Someone needs to get married then.
Well, people my age don't get married that often. Well, they do, but
that's cute though.
going to more funerals than weddings. I know. So anyway, little chance tonight, very little. Don't think anything will happen. Again, it picks up again tomorrow, and we'll see what we can do. But those were tremendous amounts of rain, of lightning, of wind. We had wind gusts to 65 miles an hour, and maybe more,
Wow. Well, that's
Okay.
a good update. I'm sure you're super busy having to report back.
I'm never too busy for you guys.
But thanks,
Never too busy
yeah,
for you.
thank you for coming by.
Okay.
At least even for a little bit.
All righty.
It's good to have you.
We'll see you. Have me again.
Bye. Yeah, come back whenever. All right, guys. So I know I'm going to continue with monsoon coverage. I know that Steve Krafft, Linda, they've all spoken to so many different people who were affected by this storm, and each one of those people have a different story to share. They've gotten some great video. They went around, they did their job as reporters, gathered that information. I'll be speaking, hopefully, with Steve Krafft any minute now. I did just send a message. Hopefully, Steve Krafft will know that 3 o'clock has now arrived. It's actually 3:04, 3:03 at this point, but you know, who's counting? I'm counting, actually. So while I wait for Steve Krafft's arrival, why don't we go back to some of the live images we're getting from the Manhunt? Ready? All right, guys, I'll continue to monitor the Manhunt out of the corner of my eye, let you guys know if anything happens with that, if we get any advances, and obviously if we actually have an active search, we will take you there live. But in the meantime, we are going to continue our extensive coverage of Monsoon 2015, the damage from last night, the cleanup. You were assigned 2 different stories today because there's so much going on in the valley.
I was juggling.
Doing what you do, reporting, doing your job.
Keeping it real.
I know you gave us a great show and tell this morning. I mean, I don't want to say great because this woman's home caught fire, but I mean, when you did give us a show and tell, a tour of the damage,
walk through it, right.
And it was severe, and it was a sad story. And just for those of you who missed it, what is it? This woman is older.
She's older, and she's been living in the same house for 24 years. She's on a fixed income. She doesn't have enough money for insurance, so she has no insurance for the house. And it happened that her son and daughter-in-law were staying there last night. Around 2 in the morning, the son smelled something strange, looked outside, and the house was on fire.
And this is what it looked like last night. Let me see.
That's
this
her
is today.
Backyard, right. So you could see it was torched.
And then this is the video that they shot last night from the same scene.
Yeah, and what they think, and this is just the son's guess at this moment, might have happened is that there's like a line that connects power to the house that they feel might have somehow blown onto the roof during the height of the storm, and it was hot. And when that happened, they feel like it might have started something off. They're not sure.
Right,
it's under investigation, but it happened during the storm.
So, okay, between sometime in the evening.
Right.
Nighttime.
Yeah, right. And I guess after the rain itself, but in a burst of wind. There's some of the power of the lines in the back draped over the cars in the backyard, and it looks like there's some sort of a fallen pole right there.
Right here.
It was such a mess. It's
Wow,
incredible
look at that inside of that
acrid
car.
stench. Yeah, that is just incinerated. It's just really hard to tell, as a layperson, which I am here, how this thing started. But the fire department's on it, and they'll figure it out. But the family believes it's storm related. But the bottom line is, this lady now is out of a place to live. She's going to live with her son and his wife in their apartment.
Okay.
That's inside the house. That's the ceiling
Wow.
of the living
That's
room.
the inside. That's the ceiling.
The ceiling.
Wow. And
Oh no, that's the kitchen. I'm sorry, that's the kitchen. We
But
saw the living
still,
room
just
also, yeah.
absolutely destroyed. It's
Yeah,
so sad.
it's just the whole thing's just going to have to be knocked down. I think it's just
so sad
awful.
to watch this.
Yes, it is, and the walking through it, and it's just the overpowering chemical assault on your nasal passages in your lungs as you walk through this is really.
Right.
But the fire department did a really great job in keeping this fire contained.
Right.
They kept it
Didn't
contained to this
spread.
one house instead of spreading to the neighborhood.
Joe Foley has a question for you out in the UK. This might sound a bit silly, but are most houses in America wooden?
Depends where you are. This one is actually made out of brick. It looks like you can see the bricks there. But some of the structures in the back look like they were made out of stucco and wood frame. So that might have been an add-on room, added on to the back of the house. The
Right.
fire spread into the eaves and rafters of the roof, and that's why it descended down into the ceiling and then down into the rooms inside the house. The walls of the house seem to be intact, and they are made out of brick. Joe, to answer your question, it depends where you are. In this part of the country, Phoenix area, most homes are not made of brick. Older homes are, but
Right.
lots of newer homes are
It's
not.
more on the East Coast.
It's more on the East Coast and the Midwest, where a lot of things are made out of bricks. But here, there's a lot of wood frame and stucco. Partly the reason is, I think, it doesn't get that cold here.
Right.
And you don't quite need, we do have these occasional crazy storms like last night, but a lot of the time you can go months and months with absolutely nothing.
Right.
And, because it doesn't get real cold, it's a little bit more casual how homes are thrown together and put up.
That's an interesting point of view.
Yeah, they don't.
Especially because it's not like we're prone to tornadoes here.
We're
or
not
things
prone
like
to tornadoes. We don't get hurricanes. We don't get these fierce winds and 20 below
there aren't really
zero
earthquakes
things.
here either.
Nope.
Yeah, so you're pretty safe.
It's a very, very stable place. And frankly, these storms, while severe in small local, areas
Right.
where they'll come down, we're not punished by the weather at all, like people are in Oklahoma. Or
Like
in
this,
parts
to
of
us,
Florida.
is crazy.
Yeah, but
this could be completely normal to someone in
if you
another
lived in
part of the
Tornado
country.
Alley, or if you lived in the Gulf Coast where they have hurricanes, and there are a lot of, or California that gets earthquakes and fires and mudslides and crazy weather. This is one of the more stable places and one of the more uneventful weather places you can live. A lot of people like it because it's very, very predictable weather here. year in and
Typically,
year out.
but
Very
you can't ever predict these kinds of
No,
things.
Well, and when we get a storm like this, it is the exception that proves the rule, and it's the exception that we really note. But a storm like this, if you were in, say, Nebraska, wouldn't really raise that many eyebrows. They get
Right.
storms like that.
Right.
But
So
we
I know
don't.
you spoke with the woman's son, right? I'm going to pull that video up.
I did. His name is Charles Harrison. There he is, right
he
there.
is. Let's go ahead and
Yeah.
listen to what he had to say.
Anything will help. Some work material, maybe board the house up, something. But anything at this point, we're left with nothing.
Do you think this had to do with the storm yesterday?
It might have. It started in the back, and the place where it started, there was no electrical or anything, so it's kind of weird how it just came up.
Was there a lightning strike or anything like that, do you think?
I couldn't say for sure, but I didn't hear anything as far as that. The smell is what woke me up of the burning.
And where was it in the backyard that it started?
Yeah, it started in the back, all the way in the back.
And this was like at 2 in the morning?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
So you smelled it, and then what did you do?
I woke my wife up and have her take Mom out of the house, and I went and started hosing the fire off. And there wasn't much to do with that. I mean, it was just already blaring.
How bad is the damage?
It's complete. The roof, the structure of the roof, everything's...
Do you have any other place that you all are staying?
We got an apartment, my wife and I got an apartment that we're going to go take Mom.
Do you own the apartment, or are you renting?
No, we rent.
Are you renting it?
Yes.
Okay, and this place doesn't have insurance?
No insurance.
And why is that?
She's on a fixed income. She didn't make enough to pay for the insurance.
So is it your house, or is it...
It's Mom's.
Oh, your mom's house?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I understand that. I understand that for sure. Had this been her house for a long time?
24 years. Yeah.
That's so sad. Really heartbreaking.
It is.
So sad.
A lot of people in that situation here in a fixed income, and
Right.
got to keep a roof over your head and just hope that nothing bad happens.
Right.
So we were hoping to find out. We left our card with these folks here, and hopefully we'll find out down the road what they're going to try to do. You know,
Right.
if they're trying to seek any sort of help or what. But right now they're just dealing with the shock, I think.
Right, of all of this.
Right. And they were very, very. They were very nice to talk to us under these tough circumstances.
Absolutely. So So now, then you moved on to another story.
Yeah,
right?
let's move on to 52nd Street in Virginia.
Look at this. Wow.
Yeah. Now that's a tree big tree. It came crashing down. Such a big mess there. These are guys working to fix the, the wires. It's a huge job. A very intense and physical job too, in hot, uncomfortable weather.
Right, because they have to wear, I'm assuming,
right.
protective gear.
Oh yeah, and they have to work quickly, and there's a lot of pressure on them to get the power restored quickly to people, and especially in this climate, super hot.
Right, got to get air conditioning ASAP.
Air conditioning, and then all the food people have in their
Right,
fridge.
because we actually, some viewers posted on our Facebook page this morning pictures from Walmart. I think it was 36th and Thomas.
Mm-hmm. I know that Walmart.
Where they had to throw out all the food.
I've been there before. Yeah.
Yeah, their power went out. They couldn't keep the food fresh, and I looked at these pictures. I was like, wow, this is crazy.
It's a lot of food. Yep. So they're working really around the clock to get this fixed. Mm-hmm. You can see how the wind and the power of that storm just basically toppled that.
Right here.
Yeah, that one pole, and they have another one that they've installed next to it. And they're kind of rewiring through there. In the foreground is another tree that came down. But all up and down this street, Virginia, from 52nd Street looking to the west, they're fixing poles that are damaged or down.
Right.
And this tree is across the street, within half a block away. And there is a man who lives in a little house with a shed right where the top of that tree is, and that tree took out his shed and just missed his back door.
And you spoke with him as well.
We did, yes. Yeah, his name is Joseph Russell. This is another tree.
Wow.
That smashed down into a camper.
Wow.
Across the street. Unfortunately, nobody was in that camper, because that would not be pretty.
That would not be good at all. I want to listen to the man you spoke with.
Yeah, Joseph Russell is his name.
All right, let's hear what Joseph has to say.
It's been in Phoenix quite a long time.
Were you at home when this happened yesterday?
I just got home after it happened, and the storm was still on, and I couldn't see things very well, but I knew something bad had happened.
Did you hear that tree falling over?
No, I wasn't here when it fell over. I just came right shortly after.
What if you had been home when that came down?
Well, my trailer got missed, except for the awning, but it took out my power and a couple of storage sheds.
That's a pretty close call.
It's real close, yeah.
So what are you doing now? How can you...
Well, the place is... I've been slated to move because we're going to develop this place. So it's in the process of being developed, but I wasn't planning on leaving this fast.
Now?
Well, by this fast, I mean now, yes.
Where are you going to go?
Well, I have some options. I'm not sure yet. I'm just kind of hanging loose.
What does this tell you about the power of nature?
It's awesome.
You must feel kind of lucky.
It's very fortunate. It could have been worse.
Well, thanks for taking the time and talking to us. What's your name?
Joseph Russell.
Okay, and how do you spell your last name, sir?
Russell.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can see...
It's a miracle,
Yeah, this house is pretty much messed up.
Right.
So that's how we've been spending our days, traveling around and looking at trees that have fallen onto people's homes. And
I mean, there's still, I think, all of you guys are pretty much assigned to different weather-related stories.
Well, we have a big storm, a big Arizona storm like this one.
You have to, because there's so many different angles, so many different stories to tell. We don't even have enough reporters to tell all the stories, probably.
No. But we do double duty on it. The night shifts coming in, and they're going to a lot of these things too. Mm-hmm. So we get to them all.
Yeah.
And but it is a pretty intense day of coverage for us.
Yeah, it is crazy. I know a couple of viewers were asking you questions.
Sure.
Not about climate change right yet. There was, where was it? Where did I see it? I think I'm... Okay.
Someone said that there's a lot of wood homes in some northern states. That's true.
And then Rachel's
That's
saying,
true.
was it just the woman who lives there? Is there anything set up to help her, like an official like GoFundMe or something?
Not yet. And they were going to try to figure that out and get back to us. So they have our card. And so when they're comfortable doing it, they'll reach out to us.
Yeah.
And we'll put it on our website if they'd like us to.
Right. Eduardo, also known as Ale, said, have any funds been raised to help the individuals that had no insurance on their homes? Not only this one, but in general.
Not that I know of.
Right. And Joe Foley has a political question. Steve talking about weather. What about Obama's climate change rampage? And then next, he's allowing drilling for the oil and the art.
Well, maybe he's satisfied that there are enough environmental protections written into the drilling rules in the Arctic, for one thing. And I think the other point is that I think for whoever's in the White House, there's a balancing act between wanting to stimulate the economy, especially in a state like Alaska that's so heavily dependent on oil. That's 90% of that state's economy.
Mm-hmm.
You want to balance that with your understandable concern for the environment and your recognition of climate change. And so you're going to take policy positions that try to square that circle.
There you go. Joe Foley, out in the UK. Very concerned
That's
about
right,
what's
Joe.
happening here in the U.S.
And if memory serves, aren't they drilling for oil in the ocean by England? Aren't there lots of searches for oil in the North
I don't
Sea?
watch
The
the
North
Make
Sea.
Now equivalent in Britain.
North
I don't
Sea
know.
is very close to England,
That's
and
true.
There's a lot of oil there. A lot of it the Norwegians have, but I think the British folks are looking for oil too, right?
And one more political question while they have you up here. It looks like AL, also known as Eduardo. Steve, your thoughts on Ben Carson catching up to Trump and beating him in some polls?
I think that's something that's happening only in states with strong evangelical streaks like Iowa. So I think Ben Carson has a real following in the Republican Party, but I don't think it's a broad following. I think it is a deep following among a subset of voters who are religious and evangelical folks. And I think, of course, in 2008, Mike Huckabee got those votes.
Right.
2012, Rick Santorum got those votes. It might be in 2016 that those votes go to Ben Carson. He's sort of an inspirational figure for folks. Whether that translates into a wider trend, it didn't for Huckabee. It kind of did for a while, but ultimately didn't for Santorum, and I don't think it will for Ben Carson, Dr. Carson, either. But the big story for me today is this ongoing and increasing war, widening war, between Donald Trump and Jeb Bush.
What happened now?
Jeb Bush came out with a video that is, for the moment, like on YouTube and whatnot, basically accusing Trump of being essentially a Democrat who's posing as a Republican. And it has clips of Trump from like 2004, praising the Democrats, praising Hillary Clinton, and saying that he's not an authentic conservative. And so Trump shot back with a video of Jeb Bush at some sort of a fundraiser.
This is like the equivalent of like rap battles where
It is.
they have diss tracks, but now these are just
Right.
like political diss videos.
Right.
Like, what is this?
So the Trump people came back saying that there was some video of Jeb Bush at an event praising Hillary Clinton for something or other.
Right.
And Bill Clinton for something or other.
Oh
So
my
each side is
gosh.
accusing the other of not being authentic. And I think that...
This is an opportune time for a third candidate to just come in and
well, I think
just,
the
like,
Bush people have decided they can't sit back and wait for Trump to go away, that he's not going to go away. So finally they have to fight him.
Right.
And watching it, though, it doesn't seem like Jeb Bush is enthusiastic about going in there with a razor blade and trying to carve up Trump.
Right, right.
Whereas Trump is kind of enjoys that sort of slashing attack. So it's a big test for Jeb Bush to see if he can get down into the mud if necessary and slug it out with a guy who's a brawler, which is what Trump is.
We have many more months. How many months left before the primary election?
Well, the first one's going to be in next January. So September,
September. I keep
October,
forgetting it's
November,
September.
December. 3 or 4 months, and then
And more debates.
there's a debate the
Coming up.
16th of
15
September.
days.
Yeah,
15
right.
days out in Southern California.
And then there'll be one debate per month.
Right.
And so the Republicans have fewer debates this time around because they had too many last time, they felt. So they're cutting back.
There's so many candidates.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the big thing. And one other big thing is I think we're going to see some changes in how CNN puts candidates on stage that will allow, how they interpret polls, that will probably allow Carly Fiorina to make the top 10. So it looks to me like she's going to be on the main stage, and I'm guessing that Chris Christie's going to be dumped off the main stage and wind up at the kiddie table. With Rick Santorum, Bobby Jindal, George Pataki, and
Rand Paul is going to stay in the big league.
Rand Paul will stay in the big leagues, but not by a whole heck of a lot. He might be in like 8th place these days. So the field is shifting, but most of the players are still there. In fact, I think all of them will be, maybe not Rick Perry, but maybe he'll hang around and do one more debate.
All right. Thank you, Steve. I see now we have some breaking news.
Let's do it.
So I'm going to go to these live aerials and let Linda know she can come on by. Guys, we have these live aerials. Again, sorry for the helicopter noise that I'm subjecting you guys to, but Skyfox just arrived on the scene. This is 24th Street in Hatcher. This is all we know from police. A person has been shot while inside a victim's home. The subject is detained. Unknown on injury extent. Officers are working to make sure nobody else was in the home. It's an ongoing investigation. You guys were looking at the aerials of this home. Again, it was 24th Street in Hatcher. It looks like a nice house. I mean, it's big. And apparently a shooting took place. Again, we have very, very limited information right now. The desk is working to get more information, but right now police aren't saying much. But we do know that a shooting took place at 24th Street and Hatcher. All right, now back to our monsoon 2015 coverage. Linda, we have you on, and this time we're not going to rush you off for a breaking news conference.
All I could say was good morning, and then all of a sudden, Phoenix is talking about all the damage sustained and stuff, so that was fine.
You guys can go back and watch the replay of
all
it.
I was going to do was tell you about my horrible commute that should have taken me 15 minutes, but took me more like an hour.
Yeah, I heard because of the power outages, there were a lot of lights.
So many lights out. So many lights out.
Especially within downtown.
And there weren't officers at each one. They were spread so thin. They just couldn't possibly be at every light that was dark. So we were just kind of left out on our own. It was like a bunch of children wandering around bumping into each other.
Yeah.
No, we weren't that bad.
But I mean, at that time, I feel like there were at least 4 people who came into work relatively pretty late because of that.
Exasperated.
Yeah,
late and exasperated. But
it's life.
It is. There's some people who have a commute like that every day. Not with the lights out and stuff, but it takes them an hour and a half every day. It takes me 20 minutes usually. But my phone warned me, my smartphone. It said, you're going to be late, Linda. Didn't say that, but it said, you're going to have problems if you take 7th Avenue, sister. And I still got on it because, and then I got off.
I never listen to my phone either.
I shouldn't listen to my phone.
It's just there.
My phone said to take the 17 instead.
I don't have a phone
really?
Anymore, but
yeah. You should get one.
I'm working on it.
I know,
so,
crazy.
So I'm going to pull up this video right now. You got some pretty good interviews.
Yeah, this is North Encanto, which is the area, I'd say about 7th Avenue, west to 19th Avenue, and north of Thomas, just north of Encanto Park. They call it North Encanto. It's an historic area. Oh, there I am walking through the shot, oblivious. It is beautiful homes, older homes built in the 1930s. What is so fabulous about it is because it's so old, there are all these glorious trees. Old, elegant, huge, green, leafy trees.
These are hidden in Phoenix. You don't get to see trees
You
like
don't
this
see them very much.
No.
But, that storm that came up from the south. See, I thought that storm came from the east because we had that huge buildup that looked like a wave to the east of the city. I tweeted about it yesterday. That storm, my photographer says, that storm is sucker punched us from the south. We were all looking to it just came zipping up, developed quickly, and pulled in from the south.
Still fascinates me so much because I didn't grow up here to just have these random things. Like my exposure to rain or anything, it's like the meteorologist, like you can see the motions and that kind of comes over and then that's
Monsoon's
it.
not like
this
that.
This is so different.
It is
different.
Because they have these things. Anytime you have something called a pop-up shower or something that can just develop
that's
or
not
pop
just like
up.
a pop-up box where you can take a shower.
No, that would be nice. It really is a pop-up storm where all of a sudden all of the elements come together, start swirling, and up in terms of dew point, humidity. Munsey will tell you all of this stuff, and it can develop super quickly.
Right.
And get ferocious really fast, which is what happened last night. Very little warning. But, this community, tight-knit, really rallied together and started helping each other. But, this happened at 8 o'clock. And can you imagine?
Look at that.
Just how sticky and miserable it would have been if you had no air last night.
A
lot of them went to hotels, but some of them stayed.
Right.
This is one of the crazy scenes we saw at someone's backyard. Yeah, that's a power pole.
Oh, wow.
And beneath it is a transformer sitting in their backyard.
Wow.
So, yeah, you got monsoon slammed if this is what was in your backyard when you got up this morning. This was right near 18th Avenue, just north of Thomas. And then right beneath it, sitting over the guy's fence, is a transformer. It's like, really? How does this happen? So, super strong winds. I'm going to call the weather service and find out what they say. Some guys were saying hurricane, sounded like a train, all that stuff, but it was more than likely a microburst.
Right.
But the Weather Service has not confirmed that yet. I'm going to give them a call. So unless they happen to have some meters or some kind of equipment in the area that could measure wind speed, I don't know how we would know, but they would have to look at pictures, and everything's blowing the same way. Did you see the picture of the cactus?
No.
I have the coolest picture. I've never seen
God,
anything
where
like it.
is it?
It looks like a meme.
Where is it?
I haven't tweeted it yet.
Oh my gosh, can you show us?
I will. Should I go get my phone?
You go get your phone, and I'm going to play a one soundbite with one of your interviews right now.
Got it. All right.
So that'll give you time.
Okay.
How does that sound? I'm so excited for the cactus photo. You guys know how I feel about cacti.
Trey, T-R-E, Thompson, T-H-O-M-P-S-O-N.
I know your flag usually doesn't look like that.
No, ma'am, it does not.
What happened to the flag? What happened last night?
Well, we were seeing it rain, and all of a sudden it just amplified about 10 to 100 times, and the power went out. I went in the back, was filming some of it. We were getting hail. And I was thinking, it's pretty bad, but then I come up front and my tree's gone and all these other trees are down. I go back to the backyard. I have a 50-year-old sumac. It's on its side now. So I came over and was watching. We heard the AC units on the top were shaking. Trees over here fell. When I was standing outside trying to get some of this on video, which some of it doesn't look that good, but some of it you can see what happened.
Yeah.
I say that can you hear that? And I swear it sounded like it was a tornado. It was like that train, that whoop, whoop, whoop sound. And it just sounded like it kind of went right over the house and went over that way.
Ever seen anything like this?
Yeah, I went through Ike in Houston. It was more of a consistent thing for a couple hours, but this was a lot more intense, really fast. So this was probably the worst storm I've been in here since I've been in Phoenix.
How long have you been here?
3 years.
Wow. Okay, let's go look at your...
So now this is the video that is specific to that individual that you just spoke with, right? This is
his backyard. That's Trey's backyard. And we also have video. He actually went out with his phone last night and took video of the storm blowing through at the time. So I don't know what that is. That's I said that was his lawn furniture and his trees doing some kind of mango tango kind of dance. Oh, there's some Christmas lights in there too.
Oh my gosh.
I missed those.
That's dangerous though, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, he should not have been out there taking the video, but
why do you
know.
have Christmas lights in August? Well, it was August yesterday. It's September now.
I have Christmas lights up.
Still?
Well,
or did you just keep them up?
They're twinkle lights. That's what I call them. So on the back
this is
patio. This
flag.
is his flag.
Nuts. This is all damaged by the storm.
All damaged by the storm. This is him taking his
Wow.
flag down. He said, of course, we're going to replace it. But he said, for now, I think everyone
That is
just feels
crazy.
they're storm weary. They seem kind of beleaguered. No one slept well last night because there was no air. So, yeah, they were troopers though. That's the picture I'm talking about.
Yeah, this is the picture that.
Now that's not this is in Trey's backyard. And I thought I would tweet it out and I would have a caption contest, but I would put underneath it, Monsoon 2015. It went that away. look at it, and they're all
Yeah,
pointing
'cause
it.
So what did this used to look like?
It was straight up.
Okay.
All of them were straight up.
Oh, these were all like.
Yeah, they were all just stood
so
up
this-
straight.
Oh, these
It
are
kind of-
multiple
Yes,
cacti.
yes.
So this is like one.
And all of the arms
and
are
their
all
arms are all different.
They're all pointed the way that the wind was
there's
blowing.
Like at least 5
Yeah.
cacti all together, but they're all kind of.
Yeah,
destroyed.
that's what I think it's one plant.
Yeah.
I think it's one plant, but I'd never seen
That is
cacti
so
lean like that.
crazy.
Yeah, that was nuts. So just one of the crazy things I saw: a transformer in someone's backyard.
Yeah.
And Trey's plant like that.
I
so
want to get more video up.
Yeah.
And then I know you had a couple other great interviews. There was
I
this
had
one
good
woman you
interviews.
spoke
I
with.
loved her.
I'm gonna pull her.
You know,
up.
some people you bond with.
Yeah.
There was something about her. She was just, she just reminded me
Easy
kind
to
of like, that cool mom. Just reminded me kind of being like out of a fairy tale.
Let's go
you know?
meet this cool mom.
Yeah.
All right.
Talk to me. Will you say your name and spell it? My name? Melissa Sparks, MELISSA-SPARKS. Were you here last night? Yes, we were. What time and what did it sound like and what did you think? About 7 o'clock or 7:15 and the sky turned orange. And I thought, it's going to trick us like it has all this last week. We're going to get a storm. Storm just blows away. No. My son comes running out and says, "Ha, it's raining." And he comes out to look at it, and I'm peeking at it. And then the sound, like, whoa, like that, comes like that. And I said, "Get the baby in the hallway." He's not a baby anymore. My youngest has got autism. He's 12. I said, "Get him out of here." I thought, if we were having a hailstorm, last time it took out all the front windows. But this time, there was no hail, but you kept hearing this sound and something's hitting the house. And so we threw him in the hallway and I said, "Shut the front door." He shuts the front door and it blows him all the way back into the living room again. Holy Moses, good grief. All right, just stay the heck away from the windows and it'll be all right. Except for the poor trees.
Yeah, these
were full-size jacarandas. And I hope they're not lost. Supposedly they're sturdy. You can top them off and they will come back. But
You have a lot of help because you can't get to your front door right now.
No, I would recommend Barry & Sons Lawn Service is always the very best and the quickest, and they come out and save you.
So you called them and they said, "We'll come save you,
Yes,
Melissa?"
yes, they came out within 10 minutes of my call. So the insurance company will see us through.
Where did all this come from? Did this come from?
That branch is from that tree. I think there's another branch under this tree. Oh, most of this is the poor jacaranda. We have a pecan in the back. Landed on the power line, which is very scary because, if it fell and snapped the wire into the water, anyone who goes outside is going to get electrocuted. So.
But you love it here. You
I
survive.
love it here. It's a beautiful neighborhood and lovely
I'm gonna
neighbors.
switch you this way. Sorry.
Lovely neighbors for the most part, and we'll see it through. It'll be all right. All my kids are safe, and the house is not ruined. So that's.
Live right there in that house. Last night between 8 and 8:30. I know you don't want to be cliche, but
it was a freight train. When people like in Kansas or Nebraska tell you that it sounds like a freight train coming down the street, they're not kidding. We were in the house, I was in the garage, and it came, and we couldn't see 15 feet in front of us.
Rain, wind, howling.
Rain, wind, howling, hail, trees breaking. We lost 4 major limbs out of this tree, cracked my wall. Guy around the corner lost half his roof, lost his chimney. 18th Street or 18th Avenue was all full of trees. We've been clearing since 5:30 this morning.
What do you think it was? Was it a microburst?
We think it was a microburst, but we haven't heard. We have no power, so we can't get the news. We can't get anything. All our devices are all dead because we were trying to find them all last night. And yeah, it's a lot of work. So we've got all these neighbors that we've all got to help get done, and we've already done half the street already.
Not what you expected in sweet, quiet Central Phoenix. No. Because the storms have not made it in this year.
No, it was you know, you guys were saying in the news that we were going to be fine and that we weren't going to have any big monsoons, and it literally rolled in, and within 20 minutes it was this. Just devastation everywhere. It's like a bomb went off. So
You guys have really rallied.
yeah, we have to. It's how we take care of our neighbors. So this is a pretty close-knit community.
I've
here.
noticed.
Yeah, we have a Facebook page for the community. We have our own block watch. So yeah, it's a pretty big deal. So.
All right. Good job.
Okay.
What's your name again?
Again, guys, if you want to hear more about this story, this neighborhood, Linda will be live in the 5 o'clock, so you guys can hear more about her story there. And I think it's time that we transition to another topic. All right, guys, so we have had extensive Monsoon 2015 coverage. I have a couple feeds coming in right now. So we have continuous feeds from the ground of the manhunt in Illinois for the 3 people involved in the shooting death of a police officer early this morning. Really just an unfortunate story there. These are live images coming in. Right now there are officers all over, stationed in different places because of this search. Meanwhile, we also have aerials here. Oops, it's not a manhunt here. This situation, don't have a lot of confirmed information right now. Very vague. Individual has been shot inside this home. The person has been detained. Unknown on the extent of an injury. Officers making sure no one else is in the home. It's very confusing to me because it says the subject has been shot while inside a victim's home. So this is the wording that police have told us. Very confusing as of right now, but these are the aerials. This is at 24th Street in Hatcher. A very lovely house, as you can tell. And if we get any new information, we will bring that to you here. But in the meantime, we are going to continue on Manhunt Watch.
working with Madeline?
I mean, we can talk about it tonight, but it's going out loud first.
All right, guys, for those of you just joining us who did not join us at the top of the show and are unclear as to what is going on, what this manhunt is about, it is a crazy and unfortunate, sad story out of Fox Lake, Illinois. Fox Lake, a little over 50 miles from Chicago, closer to the border with Wisconsin. Basically, this officer who had been with the force for 30 years was shot and killed as he was chasing 3 armed and dangerous suspects. Now, these individuals were being pursued by this officer, Lieutenant Joseph Gliniewicz, this morning, and he had radioed in that he was following 3 suspects, 2 white, 1 black, and then they lost contact with him, and then when backup came, they found Lieutenant Gliniewicz injured. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his injuries. It's a really sad story. He was a very well-liked guy on the force, and he was a father of 4 sons, 30-year veteran, and it's just really sad. Basically, authorities are looking everywhere to try to track down these 3 guys. Helicopters circling above Fox Lake, all law enforcement agencies in the area, along with SWAT team, FBI. I mean, everyone is trying to track down these guys that were involved in the unfortunate shooting death of this cop. So that's what we know so far. This is a ground shot, one of the areas where the manhunt is taking place. Obviously, there are officers all over the area trying to make sure every area is covered in case one of these individuals is seen.
One of ours or one of yours?
All right, guys, we're going to switch from this live feed of this specific corner to show you some other video that was shot earlier. These are aerials of the SWAT team that has come in to track down these 3 suspects. You can see these aerials. Lots of people coming out to help with the manhunt. And in case you missed the press conference earlier, here are some sound bites from that.
At approximately 7:52, preliminary investigation indicates Fox Lake Police Lieutenant Joseph Gliniewicz had encountered 3 suspicious subjects. He advised his radio communication that he was out with 3 suspicious subjects, 2 male whites and 1 male black. Shortly thereafter, Lieutenant Gliniewicz informed communications he was in a foot pursuit. His communications then lost contact with him. When our first responding backup units arrived at the scene, they located Lieutenant Gliniewicz injured with a gunshot wound. A massive search as well. We're asking residents in the Fox Lake area to please be on the alert if they see anything suspicious to dial 911 immediately. Anything out of the ordinary, anything they're not used to seeing in their subdivisions. No tip is too small, and we're asking for the community's help on locating anything suspicious. At this time, I'm going to turn.
Tonight, not only did Fox Lake lose a family member, I lost a very dear friend. Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz was a 30-year veteran, a decorated police officer, a family man, and a dear friend to the entire village of Fox Lake. The response today by law enforcement from local, state, and federal agencies has been remarkable. We would like to thank each agency and each officer who is out there right now assisting our efforts. Understandably, our community is having a very difficult time. In the coming days will be even more difficult as we remember him as a police officer, a father, and a member of our community. G.I. Joe was the father of 4 boys, a decorated police officer and our asset to our community. Many residents in here knew him as G.I. Joe, and we remember him as someone deeply committed to Fox Lake, to the profession, and his fellow officers. Going forward, our focus is in 3 areas. The first is to mourn the death of Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz. His commitment to the people of this community has been unmatched and will be dearly missed. The second is to ensure the people of Fox Lake are safe as this investigation continues. We've been coordinating efforts with the schools, increasing our police presence at all our facilities, and making sure parents are notified about the status of their schools. The minute we learned about this incident, we immediately put our schools on.
So this morning.
All right, so those are just some of the quotes that we got from the news conference from this morning. And now I'm going to play a package that was sent to us from Fox National that gives you an overview.
All this went down in the Gresham Park neighborhood just outside of the Atlanta city limits. Residents of this gentrifying community have been on alert because of recent burglaries. This went down in the
just accidentally dropped into the folder, disregard, because that has nothing to do with Illinois. So on that note, we're going to go back to the live images that are coming in. All right, so I want to show you how the internet has responded to this tragic situation. Kinsey sending me a couple of tweets she found online. Here's this one from KCF. So a cop was shot and killed today. Where are the riots? Oh wait, because of some people's ignorance, police lives don't matter. Sick of this. Then we have this tweet from Hannah Alto. Let me throw that one up there. So surreal that this massive manhunt is taking place so close to home and kept us locked down in school. Hashtag Fox Lake. James Owen tweeting, to my police friends, be careful. Another officer shot and killed, this time in Fox Lake. He is an attorney. It's pretty crazy. Just obviously a lot of people talking about it nationwide. It's if we just scroll down, you can see of the 10 trending topics, Fox Lake is down there as one of the trending topics. We have this one right here from A100. Fox Lake is all about good vibes. Google Barney's Island. This isn't some backwoods town. Hashtag it can happen anywhere. Hashtag all lives matter. Meanwhile, another tweet coming in from Tommy this time. Tommy says, I live right in the middle of this Fox Lake manhunt. It's madness. I've never seen this many cops, FBI, and ATF in my life. Insanity. Wow, I know. It's just a really, really tragic situation. Really just a sad story all around. You can see this image right here. This is the officer who was shot and killed. Really just again, it's a sad story. He was an officer for 32 years. More tweets coming in saying, hey, can we riot now since 2 people gunned down a white officer in Fox Lake? Well, we know, I believe it's 3 people. And 2 of those individuals are actually white also. Moving on to this tweet, Name, saying, seriously, quit using Fox Lake for all your hate. If you haven't noticed, every life is valuable. Why is it a joke when a cop gets killed? A very good tweet from Name right there. Wild Horses 1989. That person's probably a Taylor Swift fan, but I'm not entirely sure based on the username. So again, a lot of tweets coming in. If you guys want to go ahead and look at that live look at the video that we're getting in from Fox National, this is a look at the ground search for these 3 suspected killers. All right, now I'm going to put up another tweet, this one from Sam, saying, to the people tweeting All Lives Matter in the Fox Lake tag, hashtag Black Lives Matter doesn't want dead cops, they want living black people. That is a very well said statement. This tweet coming in from Miss Hoffman saying, I don't see the police out there burning and looting in Fox Lake after one of their own is killed. Hashtag All Lives Matter. It's a good tweet as well, Miss Hoffman. Thank you for that. Here's another tweet, Greta Van Susteren saying, Ted Williams, Blue Lives Matter. Hashtag Greta, hashtag Fox Lake. Then we have this one right here. Fox Lake, Joe Gliniewicz loved helping others. This is one of his last Facebook posts, respect his life. Wow, let's look at this. Joe Gliniewicz shared Matt Kennan's photo. True words, August 20th. So this was posted 12 days ago. You have never really lived until you have done something for someone who can never repay you. Wow, that is so well said. And, you know, as a cop, he was probably doing things like that all the time, helping others, protecting people, keeping them safe, and now this happens. This is really, really sad story. And then here we have Allie J saying, praying for my uncle and the rest of the Fox Lake cops to stay safe. Obviously, this has really shaken up the town of Fox Lake. Let's get some more information on Fox Lake as a town. Fox Lake, Illinois, is a village in Grant Township in Lake County, Illinois. Population about 10,579. This is an area where many Chicagoans have summer homes. Village situated among the chain of lakes where swimming, boating, jet skiing, tubing, and boarding are popular activities. That gives you a feel for what it's like there. Really just, you know, a small town like this. Meanwhile, let's continue to look at some of the tweets that Kinsey is finding us right now. Guys who killed that cop in Fox Lake are long gone. They're wasting their time looking for them in those woods. Interesting take. Yeah, because, I mean, maybe they'll obviously have access to a car. It's a lot different than the escaped prisoners search, you know, where those two dudes were on foot. James Perry saying, if Obama can't make a speech to change mentality towards cops in America, what makes him think he can change anything? Fox Lake, hashtag questions. So many different tweets coming in, guys. So many different tweets. And not only do I want to read other people's tweets, but I want to read your comments in the chat room as well. D just rockin' saying, I'm so worried for what my grandkids' world is going to be like. Joe Foley out in the UK asks, the question is, what can be done about it? And Gio thinks the answer is not a thing, Joe. Deborah chimes in saying, I'm sick of black-on-black killings as well. I think she's just sick of killings in general. D just rockin' saying, I'm sick of just all... I'm sick of all killings. So lots of different things.
So far, they're leaving me alone. Appreciate it, though. Thank you. I appreciate
I'm also reading tweets. Group lines up along Main Highway in Fox Lake holding a Police Lives Matter sign in support of the officer killed. One more tweet right here. Another blue life taken. Fox Lake. Evil is running wild. The devil is loose. I think is what Don meant. Not the devil is loose. Probably the devil is loose. Yep, it's a very sad situation in Fox Lake indeed. going to go ahead and read some of your comments in the chat room again. Deborah saying, I find people are enticing the cops to anger them. D just rockin' saying, it's in the music, it's in the movies, it's all over social media, it's in the politics, it's in the way many raise their kids today, it's in the attacks on people that are different than the others. Beverly chiming in saying, I think we can get this country great again in all facets and there will be less random killings. All right, just to read a few more of your comments. I know a few of you chatting about this topic in the chat box. Deborah chiming in, and she's saying something that I've been thinking as well. If I were a cop, I would be so paranoid right now. It seems like cops are being targeted here and there. It's a really unfortunate situation. I don't remember ever hearing stories like this growing up, Deborah. Joe Foley saying, it isn't a cop versus them problem, it's a general problem. When a cop dies on duty, they are going to get news coverage. Whether you believe that's right or wrong, that's how it is. Tom K, especially, the copycat crimes are coming. Beverly Hooper asking, are both of those officers on their phones? It looked like it, but maybe they were reporting back police information. Deborah saying, someone could shoot them dead right now from behind those bushes. Don't they know that? I mean, that's true. I don't think that the officers want to live in fear or paranoia because they have to do their jobs. If they did that, it'd be really difficult. You have D just rockin' responding to Joe's comment from earlier saying, actually, Joe, it's a little more than just being in the news. The news has become biased. Black on white murders go unreported and white on black murders are overblown. Tess, however, chimes in saying cops are being targeted. All right, going to check in with the chat room again, see what you guys are talking about, read some of your comments. Joe Foley says, shock horror, Dee, that's how news works. The more the story gets to the people, the more they show of that subject. Tess saying there are militants currently calling out for murdering cops and white people. I've heard them on social media for the last few days. It's a heck of a lot crazy. Joe Foley chiming in saying a black person killed. There's uproar. So yes, the news is going to focus on that rather than a white person who's killed. Why? Because you have people like Al Sharpton who won't let it rest. Interesting take, Joe Foley. Rachel saying more and more I consider building an underground city. And Deborah chiming in saying, in my opinion, this catapulted once they took prayer out of the schools. It is just a small component, but there are kids that do not even know the 10 Commandments. Interesting take, Deborah. It's a culture of hate breeding in this country, Dee says. Hate for Christians, hate for Muslims, hate for authority, hate for those that disagree, hate for flags and country. We need to find the love again. Very well said, Dee. All right, guys, I am going to be getting out of here, but Kinsey will be joining you in about 30 seconds. So enjoy the rest of the show, and I will see you guys in the morning. Interesting angle we have here. I can't hear myself in my earpiece, so there I go. Interesting angle we have here as we watch police monitor who's coming in and out of this perimeter as the manhunt continues for the cop killers out of Illinois. Upsetting story, worst story to wake up to this morning. Hello to the chat room. Hi to Rachel. Thank you for saying hello to me. But these are live images coming out of Illinois. Samya, Lana commenting, our society is a what can you do for me society, and I don't see that changing. Things are just going to get worse. I honestly am not having any more children because of this world and the world that they will grow up in, which is sad, but I have to agree that does seem to be the theme. What can you do for me? Too many people thinks the world owes them, says another chatter. Too many have to be in others' businesses when they shouldn't be. Too much PC going on. Hi, Gio. Hi, Joe. Let's take a look at this press conference from earlier. I know it was just a few minutes long, but...
Briefing on the latest from Fox Lake, where police officer Joe Gliniewicz was shot dead this morning as he pursued 3 suspects on foot. He dispatched around 8 o'clock, made a radio call. All right, let's go to that media briefing and get the latest.
Hi, my name's Chris Cavalli. I'm with the Lake County Sheriff's Office. Before we get started, I just want to mention at the end, we won't be taking any questions, but we're here to give a statement. I'm joined here by Mayor Schmidt of the Village of Fox Lake, Sheriff Mark Curran, Lake County Sheriff's Office, and Under Sheriff Ray Rose. So this morning at approximately 7:52, preliminary investigation indicates Fox Lake Police Lieutenant Joseph Gliniewicz had encountered 3 suspicious subjects. He advised his radio communication that he was out with 3 suspicious subjects, 2 male whites and 1 male black. Shortly thereafter, Lieutenant Gliniewicz informed communications he was in a foot pursuit. His communications then lost contact with him. When our first responding backup units arrived at the scene, they located Lieutenant Gliniewicz injured with a gunshot wound. A massive search is now underway, and this is a 3-pronged investigation. We have the aggressive search to apprehend the offenders that are at large, and again, they're being described as 2 male whites and 1 male black. We have the evidence processing at the scene, and we have the investigation into exactly what occurred here today. We are using many resources. We're using numerous air units to search from above and look below. We're using numerous canine units that are trying to sniff out and grab a hold of a scent to the offenders. And we have numerous police officers across northern Illinois as well, and we're joined by state agencies and federal agencies as well. We're asking residents in the Fox Lake area to please be on the alert if they see anything suspicious, to dial 911 immediately. Anything out of the ordinary, anything they're not used to seeing in their subdivisions. No tip is too small, and we're asking for the community's help on locating anything suspicious. At this time, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Mayor Schmidt of the Village of Fox Lake.
Tonight, not only did Fox Lake lose a family member, I lost a very dear friend. Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz was a 30-year veteran, a decorated police officer, a family man, and a dear friend to the entire village of Fox Lake. The response today by law enforcement from local, state, and federal agencies has been remarkable. We would like to thank each agency and each officer who is out there right now assisting our efforts. Understandably, our officers are having a very difficult day today. We lost a family member. They're dealing with the loss of their colleague, partner, while also identifying efforts to find the person responsible for this senseless tragedy. Our community is having a very difficult time. And the coming days will be even more difficult as we remember him as a police officer, a father, and a member of our community. G.I. Joe was a father of 4 boys, a decorated police officer and our asset to our community. Many residents in here knew him as G.I. Joe, and we remember him as someone deeply committed to Fox Lake, to the profession, and his fellow officers. Going forward, our focus is in 3 areas. The first is to mourn the death of Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz. His commitment to the people of this community has been unmatched and will be dearly missed. The second is to ensure the people of Fox Lake are safe as this investigation continues. We've been coordinating efforts with the schools, increasing our police presence at all our facilities, and making sure parents are notified about the status of their schools. The minute we learned about this incident, we immediately put our schools on soft lockdown and advised parents that they should pick up their children from school. We made a decision to dismiss students at 4 o'clock instead of 3, and are asking parents to pick up their children from the school. Finally, we continue to support the hardworking men and women out there today in this heat, doing everything that they can to find the individuals responsible for this very tragic incident. Thank you.
So let's head back over to these live images. These are the officers just trying to divert traffic as they continue to search for these suspects that murdered this officer.
And this Tuesday with breaking news from Fox Lake, where a manhunt is underway for 3 armed men after a police officer was shot this morning. Now, while there have been a number of media reports out there that the officer has passed away, the Lake County Sheriff's Office will only say that that police officer that was shot this morning has been injured. Authorities are asking everyone that lives in the area to remain indoors. Our Larry Allen is live in Fox Lake, where a news conference just wrapped up. Larry Allen.
Darlene, the scene here looks like one out of a movie. There are numerous helicopters overhead, SWAT teams on the ground. There are also canine units, some from as far away as Evanston, from the north suburbs of Chicago, trying to track down the 3 individuals who were involved in today's incident. About 20 minutes ago, the Lake County Sheriff's Office held a press conference. They refused to take any questions on camera, but here's what they had to say about how it all went down.
This morning at approximately 7:52 in the morning, Fox Lake police officer indicated he was out with 3 suspicious subjects. This was in the area of Route 12 and Satan Road in Fox Lake. He described the subjects as 2 male whites and 1 male black. A short time thereafter, he radioed into communications that he was in a foot pursuit when communication was lost with the officer. His backup officer arrived on the scene and located him injured with a gunshot wound. There are 3 suspects at large at this time, again described 2 male whites, 1 male black, and I don't have a further description. At this point, this is a 2-pronged investigation, so we're looking into.
And I don't understand what just happened. Let's hope we go back to that video. Give me 2 seconds, see if that comes right back up. Sometimes these pages auto-refresh, which is unfortunate. But someone just asked me in the chat room, is this the officer that was pumping gas? No. This is an entirely different officer that's been shot and killed. This is an officer that was shot. That incident actually happened in Texas. This actually happened in Illinois. This is a horrific incident where this officer saw 3 suspicious individuals, was following them, called for backup, and actually ended up murdered himself. He thought that their behavior was suspicious and was following them and ended up murdered himself. The incident in Texas was the officer pumping gas, and I guess somebody that had a history of mental illness walked up, shot him point blank in the head, and then continued to shoot him repeatedly. So the concern is for police officers right now is that there is a target on their back, and they are asking that President Obama address the issue, and they are concerned for their own safety. But right now, these are live images out of Fox Lake, Illinois, where the manhunt continues for the 3 suspects who shot and killed the police officer. And let me see, I have some pictures. Charles Joseph Gliniewicz.
Evidence processing at the scene,
There
and we
he
have
is.
the investigation into exactly what occurred here today.
These are actually the live visuals. They referred to him as G.I. Joe, called him a great family man and friend. The mayor even referred to him as a friend. Let's dip back into this press conference from earlier. We did just watch it, but it's heartbreaking to hear them speak about this officer that was shot and murdered this morning.
Has been remarkable. We would like to thank each agency and each officer who is out there right now assisting our efforts. Understandably, our officers are having a very difficult day today. We lost a family member. They're dealing with the loss of their colleague, partner, while also identifying efforts to find the person responsible for this senseless tragedy. Our community is having a very difficult time. And the coming days will be even more difficult as we remember him as a police officer, a father, and a member of our community. G.I. Joe was a father of 4 boys, a decorated police officer and our asset to our community. Many residents in here knew him as G.I. Joe, and we remember him as someone deeply committed to Fox Lake, to the profession, and his fellow officers. Going forward, our focus is in 3 areas. The first is to mourn the death of Lieutenant Joe Gliniewicz. His commitment to the people of this community has been unmatched and will be dearly missed. The second is to ensure the people of Fox Lake are safe as this investigation continues. We've been coordinating efforts with the schools, increasing our police presence at all our facilities, and making sure parents are notified about the status of their schools. The minute we learned about this incident, we immediately put our schools on soft lockdown and advised parents that they should pick up their children from school. We made a decision to dismiss students at 4 o'clock instead of 3 and are asking parents to pick up their children from the school. Finally, we continue to support the hardworking men and women out there today in this heat doing everything that they can to find the individuals responsible for this very tragic incident. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Back to these live images out of Fox Lake, Illinois. The manhunt continues on into the evening in northern suburban Fox Lake after a police officer was shot and killed, and his service weapon, I believe, and mace was taken earlier this morning. Police and family members said that the slain officer, a veteran of the Fox Lake Police Department, is married with 4 children. He is known to most as Joe. He's an Army veteran with the nickname G.I. Joe, and he worked for 32 years on the Fox Lake Force, according to Terry Rester, his mother-in-law. He had 4 sons, now teenagers and adults. He was about to retire, she said. According to his mother-in-law, he loved being an officer. 11 police officers have needlessly lost their lives since October 20th alone in America because of shootings, and sadly our communities have been directly impacted today, said Illinois State Representative Barbara Wheeler of Crystal Lake. As information continues to come in about the shooting of another police officer in the line of duty in Fox Lake, I hope we can all remain calm and pray for the officer's family and the other officers in harm's way. According to Fox 32 Chicago, his mother-in-law says that the family will be okay. "What can you say, hun?" she told the reporter. "The oldest grandchild called me this morning to be sure I was okay," she said. Asked if she had a message for those responsible for her son-in-law's death, she said, "You don't want my message to them." SWAT vehicles and multiple helicopters were involved in a massive manhunt to find the killers of the officer who was gunned down at approximately 8 a.m. One witness said he saw the helicopters above his house and he thought maybe it was time for him to leave. He said that police officers thoroughly checked him and his truck when he drove away from his home near Rollins Road and Route 59. He didn't plan to return home until the fugitives were caught. "This is crazy," says one woman in the area. "They think that the suspects are hiding behind my house, so I can't go home." One neighbor's dog had to go out, so a police officer actually took her dog out to pee. That's how much they were under lockdown earlier today. Gina Maria, a kindergarten teacher who lives in Fox Lake but works in Barrington, said she promptly left her class with a substitute when she got a message from her son about the lockdown at Grant High School. "I'm here supporting law enforcement officers, letting people know that police lives matter," she said. According to this report on Fox 32, at 7:52 a.m., the slain officer, made contact with 3 suspects, male suspects, authorities said.
The officer on his radio, he said he was running after the suspects when communication was lost. A backup officer responded and found the officer injured with a gunshot wound. An officer could be heard on the scanner saying, "Send everybody you possibly can. Officer is down." All residents were being asked to remain inside and call 911 if they see anything suspicious. School District 15 in McHenry said it's on their website that all schools were put on soft lockdown as a precaution due to police activity in Fox Lake. Also on soft lockdown were Gavin South Middle School and Gavin Central Elementary School in Ingleside, as well as, pardon me, the page just refreshed. Grant High School, Fox Lake. Metra has closed and Ingleside Station due to the ongoing police activity. Commuters were advised to use the Long Lake or Fox Lake stations instead. Several area roads are also closed. And that, again, is a Fox 32 report. Charlotte, this is such a sad story. Kinsey, my thoughts and prayers are with the loved ones. As we gear up for our 5 p.m. broadcast, if you are local, you should turn on Channel 10. If you are not local, you can head over to fox10phoenix.com. There will be a red flashing bar at the top of your screen. You can click on that and watch our live coverage of monsoon 2015 storm cleanup. But if you are local, you can turn on Channel 10 to see what's going on with monsoon 2015 cleanup. I see Steve Krafft getting ready for his live shot. Andrew Hasbin's currently on air, but it is 5 o'clock, so we're going to wrap and gear up for our 6:30 to 9 program here on Fox 10 News Now. You can find that by subscribing to our YouTube channel, which if you're currently watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right now. We are live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Download our app. It's free, Fox 10 Phoenix. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook. But we're going to have more coverage for you 6:30 to 9 p.m. this evening on Fox 10 News Now. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again in just a little bit.